What's good, y'all? Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, whenever you're watching this. It's Marcus Frazier from Teachable Tuesdays, here to motivate you, encourage you, and inspire you to be a better you. Thank you for joining me today. Greatly appreciate it. We'd like to welcome you to a Teachable Tuesdays long Chronicles. This is episode 17. Yeah, we're on episode 17. We're just rolling along. I wonder what's going to happen when we get to like 100 episodes. We'll talk about that at a later day. Anyways, today, got a couple things that's on my mind I want to talk to you guys about. As the recording of this video, it's on a Thursday, but when you see this video, it'll be a Saturday. It'll be the Saturday of the Florida Classic. We'll give you a little bit of a history lesson of the Florida Classic, just in case you've never heard of it. Unless you've attended an HBCU or you live in the state of Florida, you probably don't know about it. But the Florida Classic is an HBCU classic. HBC standing for Historic Black College Universities, for those who may not know, between two HBCUs in the state of Florida, Bethune-Cookman University and Florida Agricultural Mechanical University, aka FAMU. These two schools have been going at it for many decades. The Florida Classic has actually been in existence since 1978. It originated in Tampa, Florida, and it migrated to Orlando in the 1990s. And has been going strong ever since. You're talking about years of a strong rivalry, brother and sister school, going at it for bragging rights. The football team, the bands come out and they have an amazing time. Best halftime show ever, don't debate me. And it's just a lot of fun. It's a fun family function. It's a chance for students to have some fun. It's a chance for alum to get together and kind of reminisce on their times when they went to Bethune-Cookman and FAMU and whatnot. And it's just amazing. It's really amazing. And I want to talk to you guys about my experiences with the Florida Classic as a student and as an alum. And especially because I was in the marching band for Cookman as well, for those who may not have known. Hail Pride and Hail Wildcats, of course. And I have been, my first Florida Classic was 15 years ago. It's kind of hard to believe that 15 years has passed since my first Classic. And for the record, let me make it clear before I start with this story. It's classic, singular, one event, not classics. I'm not saying that just because I'm an English teacher. I'm also saying that because people tend to say classics. I don't know where y'all got classics from. Classic one. All right, now that we're done with that. Like I said before, I've been 15 years removed from, or 15 years, not removed, but 15 years since my first Florida Classic, and I remember this is back in 2009. By the way, and I was a freshman. I was a crab at the time in the marching band. It had been my first time being away from home for a long period of time, and the Florida Classic was kind of like that moment of I made it, because in the band, the Florida Classic for Bethune-Cookman University marching band students and FAMU marching band students, it's a rite of passage. It kind of signifies that you've made it. Congratulations, you are officially in the fold, if you will, right? It also signifies that you've officially completed your first marching band season. You are no longer a rookie. You are now a neo, which means that you're kind of like one step above a rookie in ranking, if you will, or a crab, if you want to, use those terms. I know I was called a crab. I know they say rookies now. Times have changed and all that good stuff. And for me, everything that happened over those past couple months, being far away from home, me being from Baltimore, Maryland, staying at a college in Daytona Beach. What else? My great grandfather had passed away 2 weeks prior to that. Just all the struggles I've been through with trying to balance school and, band life. It was a lot. Still managing to come out with a 4.0 GPA that semester, might add. I don't know how the heck I did it, but praise be to God, I did it. So all those things, and just, being at the Florida Classic, seeing what that was like in person, it was a bit overwhelming, I'm not gonna lie. But it was a lot of fun. I didn't march in the field that Florida Classic, you know what I'm saying? It was, again, it's my crab year. It's kind of hard for some percussion rookies to get on the field because, we had over 330 people in our band. And we only had like 290 90-something spots. I think it was 290 spots on the field, if I'm not mistaken. So, of course, we had to battle it out. And I spent the whole week leading up to Classic battling it out. And it wasn't until the night before our last practice that I had lost my spot. I had been winning my spot all week, and then, Lord and behold, I lost my spot. Now, some may argue to this day that I should have had that spot. Some people might say it's favoritism, so on and so forth. It didn't matter to me at the time. The number one thing that mattered was I wanted to prove myself that I was working hard, and I did. So the Florida Classic to me was very meaningful because it showed on a personal level that I had worked hard to get to that point in my journey, not just as a marching band member, but as a student, and looking at everything with the Florida Classic and what it means to both schools. It was just an honor to be part of such, right? And mind you, as a freshman, I was still learning. There was a lot of things I didn't know, but it was a lot of new experiences that I had. The Florida Classic, believe it or not, was actually my first time ever going to Orlando, which is funny because fast forward 15 years now, I live in Orlando. I work in Orlando, and I've been living here for 8 years. So it's hilarious how everything started there, and now I'm here. You know what I'm saying? I have so many funny stories. I don't want to get into it too right now. Maybe I'll do another video soon talking about my first Classic and what that was like in full and the funny stories behind it, because I got a whole funny story behind that. Actually, screw it. I'm going to tell you about one funny story, all right? So, not trying to get off topic too much, but I was, I remember the night of the Florida Classic, I had a date, and it was with my, one of my freshman sisters. Shout out there, I'm not going to say her name, but, it was, when I say freshman sister, I mean, like, we marched in the band together, we crabbed together pretty much, right? And I had a huge crush on her, and, like, all my boys knew. All my boys knew. So I asked her, I was like, hey, you want to go out after, the game? And she was like, sure. Because there was an IHOP that was in walking distance from the hotel that we were staying at. So I remember going on a date, being all nervous, all that good stuff. This is 18-year-old Marcus, naive Marcus. And I called my homeboy, because I'm like, bruh, what do I do? Like this and that, so on and so forth. And my section leader, Aaron, shout out to him. He's like, boy, if you don't get your ASS out there and have fun, stop calling your friends. Have fun. Do what you gotta do. Be a gentleman. Stay in frame and have fun. Oh man, shout out to my dog, Aaron. I got some funny stories with him too when I was a crab. But yeah, like it was just, I had a fun time, you know what I'm saying? But I was nervous as I don't know what, but the day ended up turning out great. But anyways, like I said, just so many memories, and even from on a more serious note, just the culture aspect of what Cookman means to so many black people, what FAMU means to so many black people. At two black institutions that were started primarily because there was a time where African Americans and people of color were not allowed to go to big time schools because of segregation and racism, and also just access to resources in general, right? I think that's the biggest thing I get from really a lot of the education that we have formed here, and not just with Cookman and FAMU, but HBCUs in general. It means a lot. You know what I'm saying? It's a big deal. Now I'm going to talk to you about, my Classic, what it kind of meant for me once I graduated. Or let's go to my last Classic. So my last Classic as a student was in 2013. I was, oh Jesus. Sorry, I don't know what this guy was doing. I was trying to let him over. Okay, I was a senior, or a super senior, because it was actually my 5th year. I did 5 years in undergrad. And My last classic, I actually cried a little. I'm not gonna lie, cried some thug tears. But nah, for real. My last classic was a lot of fun. Crazy enough, right? Speaking of classic, the only year that we lost classic when I was there, even as a grad student, because I spent 2 years of grad school after undergrad, was my freshman year. That was it. After that, we were on a winning streak, just spanking families behind. You know what I'm saying? And that continued until after COVID, which unfortunately FAMU has won the past 3 years. Well, we need to change that this year. Come on, Wildcats, let's get this win today. But yeah, at any rate, my last classic was bittersweet because first of all, at the time being, I didn't know if that was going to be my last year at Cookman or not. I'm thinking to myself, that I'm going to a different school. I actually planned on applying to UCF. I was going to go to UCF the next fall. That was the plan for grad school. I didn't know what was going to happen. So, whenever you're last of something, especially at your university, you just kind of think to yourself, so many thoughts go into your mind, like, okay, what's next? And, I don't know what to expect, and things are going to be different on the other side, and so on and so forth. And all those thoughts that are running through your mind, those are the thoughts that ran through my mind in my last classic, it was my last classic as a section leader. I became a section leader I was kind of a co-section leader my junior year, my senior year, but my super senior year, my 5th year, I became a full-blown section leader. I was over the symbol line. And I'm like, dang, this is my last time doing this. Like, this is, wow, So, and just reminiscing about all the times that I had at Cookman, I think the Florida Classic was really my last Florida Classic was not just an event, it was a culmination of everything that I had experienced. People I met, relationships I formed with people, romantic and platonic alike. Trips I went on with my boys, spring break. Many nights, having band practice, then going to the club, waking up early for an 8 o'clock class. Knowing that graduation was on the horizon, passing my test so that way I could become a teacher. So many different things, and realizing that the Florida Classic kind of signified that everything is almost over. You know what I'm saying? It's the end of a journey. I mean, granted, once again, I did go to grad school at Cookman right afterwards for 2 years, but it wasn't the same. It was not the same, When I got to grad school, my mindset shifted. I had a more mature demeanor to some degree. And yeah, it was kind of a sad moment a little bit. Because it was like, dang. I mean, I think the moment that really capped all that off as like, this is it, was the Honda Battle of the Bands. My last Honda Battle of the Bands as Marching Wildcat. But the Florida Classic, my last one in 2013, was kind of like a setup for, all right, Marcus, it's done. It's a wrap, At that time period of my classes, I was pretty much done. I had one more class to take in the spring semester that was worth 3 credits. I took a whole bunch of filler classes so that way I could be full-time. Obviously, if I'd known what I had known right now, I would have tried to go off campus, but I mean, it is what it is, And now, what does the Florida Classic mean to me as an alum? Somebody who originally graduated from undergrad 10 years ago, grad school 8 years ago. I've been to the Florida Classic first and foremost since 2018. That was the last time I went. The last time before FAMU went back on their winning streak was 2019. I didn't go to that one. I think I was going to Atlanta that year. Or was that 2019? Yeah, that was 2019. Yep. I had to think about that for a second. And I just remember, or not remember, but I feel like as alum now, it's a sense of pride that I have in the Florida Classic, right? It's meaning and respect for what it stands for and how it ultimately supports both schools. and really not just supports, but it teaches the new generation what the culture of not just Cookman and FAMU is like, but of all HBCUs. How despite the fact that we have a rivalry, there's unification in knowing that this is for the advancement of what our founders instilled into us. Both of the founders of Bethune-Cookman University and FAMU alike. What generations have built up so that we can be successful. What we continue to build so that next generations after us will be successful. It feels weird saying next generations because I'm only 33, so I'm not old. But it's real. You know, we are no longer in that generation that is there in the present. We are the generation of the past now. You know, going to homecoming this year kind of made me realize that. You know, I made a statement where I was like, yo, is it just me or these kids looking younger and younger? It's like, no, they're not looking younger and younger. You're getting older and older. That's what it is. You know, things change. I can't even begin to tell you how much Cookman's campus has changed since I first went there. I could make a whole video about that. I could be a Teachable Tuesdays long car ride Chronicles alone. Shoot, based on just the 7 years I was there. 5 years undergrad, 2 years grad. And then extending to now. Right? I've been talking to my students at school. My students are seniors. And I've been talking to them all week about the Florida Classic. What it means to me. What it means to other Wildcats. What it means to Rattlers. And how we both love it. And the spirit of it, the rivalry, you know. Sadly, I got some future Rattlers in the classroom. I'm talking smack, I'm talking about some family going with it, this and that. Little do they know, I will disown them on the day before the class. I told my students straight up, I said, hey, any of y'all pick FAMU to win, I'm disowning you. Just letting you know. They said, oop. I said, oop. Disown all my kids. Come in here with that smack talk. But yeah, I mean, what more can I say? The Florida Classic is just absolutely amazing. Hopefully I get to go Saturday. If I don't actually get to go to the game, I'll, you know, well, what should I say today? Because you'll see this video on the day of the Classic. I'll definitely at least try to tailgate. I haven't tailgated in a while. But, you know, shout out to my Wildcats. Shout out to the Rattlers. Even though we finna stomp y'all boys on Saturday. I hope this ages well. Because both teams are not looking good right now. FAMU is 5-5. Bethune-Cookman is 2-9. So, like, it ain't looking too good. I mean, but we'll see. You know, when it comes to rivalry games, you got to throw all records out. You have to. You know, one team could suck, one team could be really good, and the team that sucks beats the team that's really good. Because when it comes to rivalry games, especially a classic like this, it's an emotional game. It's not about stats. I mean, yeah, I guess stats can help. I guess they can give you an edge as to what's expected. But, I mean, because I remember the Classic my sophomore year in 2010. Now, man, mind you, both teams were good at the time. FAMU was 9-2, and Bethune-Cookman was 10-0. We had a perfect season until we went against FAMU. So actually, I'm sorry, I take that back. It wasn't my freshman year. That was the only time that we lost. I said that at the beginning of the year. It was my sophomore year. That was the last time we lost. Because from 2011 to 2019, we won on the street. I was so disappointed in that game because I just knew our regular season was going to be undefeated. Nope. FAMU spoiled all that crap. I was so mad. Man, I was so mad. I remember the drum. Oh, so another great highlight about the Florida Classic. I almost forgot to mention this. So FAMU and Bethune-Cookman have never really had a fifth quarter against each other, if you will. And if you wonder what a fifth quarter is, that is when two marching bands go against each other at the end of the game. And they go song for song. Now, we've had a lot of fifth quarters in the time I was in band with a lot of other bands. Shout out to Savannah State, Tennessee State University, Norfolk had a fifth against them. Morgan, we went up to Baltimore, had a fifth against them. That was crazy. Fort Valley, Prairie View, Alabama State. South Carolina State went against them a couple times. Actually, I think we went against them like 3 years in a row when I was there. Am I missing anybody? I feel like I'm missing somebody. Why do I feel like I'm missing somebody? Edward Waters University. That's all I can think of right now. I'm pretty sure there's 1 or 2 that I'm missing. But I remember 2010, like I said, we didn't have a 5th quarter, but you know, they were doing an ESPNU documentary of Bethune-Cookman season and FAMU season. And I remember the drum line went against each other. They played the cadence, and then we played the cadence, and then they left the field. But I mean, it was a fun experience. It was a fun experience. I mean, because that's something that had never happened before. 2 drum lines going against each other at the 50. And you know, when it comes to Z28, which is the name of their percussion section, and Sudden Impact, which is the name of our percussion section, to be honest with you, you know, it's apples and oranges. You know, two different styles. It's kind of hard to compare which one is better. I mean, obviously, technically, Sudden Impact is better. If you want to go from a technical standpoint. But again, 2 different styles. And it's no different with Bethune-Cookman and FAMU. 2 HBCUs, 2 different ways to carry themselves. But at the end of the day, we do it for the betterment of the future. And that's what the Florida Classic is ultimately about. It's a culture that brings everybody together for the betterment of this generation and generations to come. And I'm going to end the video right there. I think that's a great way to end the video. So if you're watching this and you live in Central Florida and you're thinking about going out, or at least tailgate. If you watch this video after the Florida Classic, you know, hey, check out the next one. All right? It's Marcus Frazier from Teachable Tuesdays, to motivate you, encourage you, and inspire you to be a better you. Thank you for joining me today. If you like this video, if you made it this far, you are freaking awesome. Please hit the like button, subscribe button. And until next time, stay blessed, stay safe, be kind. Peace.